The only one that matters, Parker Posey, and a whole assemblage of support cast, the Netflix series version, the reboot, Lost in Space.
So I could just be you.
Honestly, I say that not only because I love Parker Posey, but because she really is the thing that stands out in the reboot of Lost in Space. I really enjoyed the first season. The second season was sort of mediocre, and well, it's just sort of gone downhill from there. Now, when I first heard that they were going to make Dr. Smith a woman, you think, it's another gender swap thing, but Parker Posey's such a good actress. Let's see how it goes. But they actually did a brilliant job. The way that they did it, she is not actually Dr. Smith. She took Dr. Smith's place. They gave us a different version of Dr. Smith in this universe. And so it did not feel forced or contrived in the same fashion. We got in the same fashion as some shows and movies do, we got the antagonist that we needed and was truly evil and yet not thoroughly evil. There's some redeeming qualities. She's got this ability to be an absolute psychopath and yet somehow to be endearing at the same time, which is kind of something that is really Parker Posey's niche. I feel that in the roles she's been in, even Josie and the Pussycats, her villains have been multidimensional in that way, where she somehow feels troubled or endearing, but she also is very evil and diabolical. She really made the show. And it's not that all the other people who are forgettable, obviously, didn't do okay, but there was nothing outstanding about any of their performances. Now, the reboot itself of giving us the new Jupiters, the Resolute, the new robot, that seemed like it was really well thought out. My problem has been that over the course of the seasons, we're increasingly sort of seeing where the children are the focus and not the adults. The children know everything and not the adults. And of course, the one daughter, it's like they watched Star Trek Discovery and didn't realize that it's crap and that it's tanking because nobody's watching STD. And they wanted to have their own diverse female space Jesus. And this one happens to be a child. So she's a minor child, diverse female space Jesus that's saving the day and the real natural leader and all of the ridiculous sort of hogwash. So the show is really just, in fact, I started the most recent season and I got about 15 minutes in and was like, I don't think I'm going to watch it anymore. But originally, the way it started out, it was very hopeful. The first season was good. But Dr. Smith, it's worth watching those early seasons just to see Parker Posey be the villain, the troubled villain, the anti-hero. I don't know how you define her at some points. She does such an amazing job. But they have really taken the opportunity of what they began with and did everything wrong in order, apparently, their desire to destroy it topped everything. I'm really hopeful. I was really hopeful. I'm hesitantly hopeful. Is that a word? What's the word I'm looking for? With some trepidation, hopeful, because the success culturally of the Ghostbusters Afterlife. I mean, it's not been a billion-dollar thing like Spider-Man No Way Home, but it has, by erasing the previous bad attempt of a Ghostbusters movie completely from their canon and going back to one that deals with nostalgia well and gives you a new story at the same time, that's sort of hopeful that maybe someone learned a lesson from what they did in 2016, even if it's not the people associated with that fake Ghostbusters. And with the Spider-Man No Way Home, I have not seen it yet, full disclosure. I've heard about it. But what I gather is my first impression was they'd be bringing in the nostalgia just to bring people in. But it seems like they're trying to rectify the storyline. They're trying to give you something with more substance instead of just sitting down with a checklist of female, multi-gender, race swap. There's like this whole checklist of things where, well, she can never learn anything from a man, so it has to be this way, and this has to be, and this is the thing that destroyed Han Solo, became, a deadbeat dad who ends up dead. Luke Skywalker became a spineless coward. All of these things happen because of this checklist. And it isn't just that these movies are woke, but they're operating from a checklist that makes writing anything decent almost impossible. And that's what we're seeing, is that overall this stuff is crap. And I feel like Lost in Space, it began with all this potential of a great sci-fi reboot like Battlestar Galactica. That was probably the last great, fabulous reboot ever, because it might be the only one ever. I'm trying to think of any that went well, but that was such a great series. And then since then, though, since the woke checklist, everything's been crap. And it feels like Lost in Space started out with this potential and then flushed it down the toilet because they went to the checklist. Maybe people will begin to pick up on things like No Way Home, Ghostbusters Afterlife, Cobra Kai, which I just did a review of, which has done a great job of just giving a good story. If other elements fit in there, you fit them in. That's how art was always done. But you got to tell a compelling story about people you care about. You can't just check every box in this predictable, trite, meaningless sort of way and expect people to buy it. And I feel like that's what finally destroyed the potential of where Lost in Space started. Maybe someday we'll get another good one, something that does it justice in a way, like the way Cobra Kai has done for Karate Kid. But anyway, Lost in Space, watch season 1, and along the way, be warned, and it does go downhill, and I won't even be finishing this season. We will see you again next time. Peace and long life.